Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 4th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. First up, if you were sleeping the whole month of last month of April, I have the big Google Webmaster Report for May up. The big things that happened over the past month were that the broad core algorithm update hit a few weeks ago, and that continued to roll out for probably about 2 weeks or so based on our understanding. Not confirmed with Google. The broad update was confirmed by Google, but not the continuous rollout of it. Google started pushing out a second batch of mobile first indexing, which we'll get into a little bit later. The more results button that Google launched on mobile. The new autocomplete changes made in search suggestions. Job listing penalties, and a bunch more. So if you do want to catch up quickly on what happened in the past month, definitely take a look at that report, and you'll catch up fairly quickly. Also, you've been noticing I've been moving around the camera a little bit to try to get more emphasis on the TV itself. So hopefully that's working out. If you want me to change things, definitely leave comments and let me know in the video or on the Search Engine Roundtable comments. So like I said, the second batch of Google mobile first indexing has begun. Yesterday, earlier this week, we reported that on Monday that Google started sending out mobile notifications of the mobile first indexing being enabled. And Google said they actually would go ahead and expand it to a bigger set of sites. And I can't pronounce his name, but this is a Googler. And he basically said this is part of the second batch. And that second batch has started to roll out to a bunch of other sites. Here are what some of the mobile first indexing enabled notifications look like. I personally did not get one, but this one's from Ari Finkelstein. As you can see, here is what it looks like over here. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better, but you can always check it out on the blog itself. And those people are getting these notifications. And again, Google's John Mueller said at Brighton SEO that the second batch will be coming soon, and it seemed like it has already come. So people are asking, a lot of these people are getting notifications for sites that are kind of idle. They haven't been updated in a long time. They're desktop only. They have no mobile friendliness on them. And I asked John Mueller about this. These sites might not be ready. And he said, actually, they are ready. A desktop only site has no problem with being equivalent to the mobile version because there is no mobile version. It is one page. So there's usually no problems with links or hreflangs or canonical tags or markup or structured data or any of that type of stuff between the variations, because there are no variations. And those are the easiest sites for Google to start crawling first from a mobile first indexing perspective. And Google said, again, it's important to understand that being mobile friendly isn't the same thing as going in the mobile first indexing process. Google's going to crawl the web, your desktop site or your mobile site or both, using the mobile first indexing system. So they're going to crawl as a smartphone using Googlebot Mobile. They're going to switch that. They used to be Google Desktop bots. Now they're going to switch it to Google Mobile. And the issue they have is not saying, oh, this desktop site is a desktop site, we can't crawl as a mobile first indexing. They can do that. That's not a problem. The issue is when you have a mobile version of the site and a desktop version of the site, and those two pages are very different, they're not so equivalent, Google loses some signals, like link signals, structured data signals, and content signals, and so forth. And that's the issue. If they're not equivalent, that's the issue. So that's why you're seeing a lot of non-mobile friendly websites being moved over in the first or second batches, because those sites don't have equivalency problems between the two. And that's a very interesting move. Definitely take a read. I wrote about this in a lot of detail on May 2nd, so definitely take a look at that if you're interested. Google has updated their structured data for recipes, specifically to help them get into the Google Assistant and Google Home. So if you want to ask it questions, it will actually give you a recipe and we walk you through step-by-step instructions. Google said they added more guidance for recipe instructions. You can now specify each step of the recipe with the how-to step property and sections of the step with the how-to section property. And these are now required to use recipe ingredients and recipe instructions, and so forth. Now Google recommends videos, categories, cuisines, and keywords for the structured data for your recipes. It will help it get into Google Search, and it will also help it get into the Google Assistant, which is obviously a lot of people probably use it via Google Assistant and Google Home. Google page speed, and people have been confusing this for a while, so I asked John Mueller for clarification, and John Mueller said Google page speed there's two metrics when it comes out. In July, Google's coming up with a speed update, and it's the first time Google's going to look at the speed of a mobile page, and that's not going to replace your desktop speed. So if somebody's accessing your website on google.com from their desktop browser, Google's going to use the speed of your desktop page. If somebody's accessing your website via Google mobile search on their smartphone, Google's going to use the page speed of your mobile site. And I asked John Mueller to confirm that, and he did. Of course, that's not going to happen until July when the speed page update goes out. For now, they just use the desktop page speed, but eventually they will start using both. And again, it's just really a negative factor, I think. Only really, really slow pages will be affected, not really, really fast pages per se. Google says, don't change URLs when replacing old content. So let's say this piece of content I wanted to update. I wanted to change it from don't change URLs when replacing old content with new content to don't change URLs when replacing new content with old content, or whatever it might be. That URL, I shouldn't change. Leave the URL the same, John Mueller said. Just update the content, because when you start changing URLs, that's when things get a little bit more complicated for search and so forth. So keep the URLs the same, just change the content. You can, of course, do that, change the URLs and redirect them if you want. But if you plan on redirecting the URLs and not 404ing them, why not just keep the URL, he's saying. Google recommends not using a 403 status code, instead use 404s. He said, John Mueller said this, 403 is a bit weird, but should drop the pages too. I clean it up, and normally with a 404, just use the 404. Why use a 403 when you don't have to, John Mueller is saying. Google said they cannot read the metrics behind an embedded interactive chart. So you often see these cool charts that actually let you actually play with them and do things with them. Interactive charts. Google has their own JavaScript library of interactive charts where you can actually click on things and see the data within the chart itself. Google, John Mueller said they cannot read the data within the chart. They just see it as an image, and they can't read those embedded charts. So that's something to keep in mind. Google AdWords Editor version 12.3 is released. It's a very long release. Usually Google AdWords Editor updates their editor every few months, every month, every couple months or so. This was a 6-month wait time, and they added a bunch of features, including search term reports, count level extensions, functions in the search filters, and custom rules. They sped up the ad policy review and a lot more. So here's a full list of changes you could get in that AdWords Editor update. Google AdWords Editor, AdWords has a new responsive ads beta. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Probably people are under NDA, but you can see here from this guy that there's this search ads beta out there around responsive search ads. And Google has responsive search ads already. They had it for a few years, but there's a lot more information that seems to be coming out around this, and maybe this is an early beta launch that's coming out soon, so keep your eye on that. Google My Business has updated their APIs with a bunch of new features. In addition, they came out with an agency dashboard. So for those who are local SEOs that manage a lot of local businesses, there's a new dashboard for them, and there's also a partner program. The new API provides customer-provided media, admin management APIs, merchant-provided descriptions, open date, and offer type post. The agency dashboard gives a local SEO ability to manage more and faster and easier workflows. And the partner program will give them access to new features and so forth. So definitely take a look at that if you are into local SEO. A lot of new features coming out for you guys. Google Maps has added more highlight icons. So the Google Maps local panel has these little icons we described before. And Brad Brewer, who's very involved in local SEO, came out with his legend of all the highlight icons that Google Maps might show. I think he covered all of them. I posted them here as well. So if you are in local SEO, you might want to take a look at that. And Google My Business added a clear button for attributes. So you're able to go to the info tab and add or delete or modify your business attributes in Google My Business. To make it easier, Allison Wright from Google said they added a clear button so you could actually more efficiently manage those attributes by clearing them as well. I basically built a site for Matt Cutts. As you know, Matt Cutts about 8-9 weeks ago announced or told us that he had terrible personal news, specifically his wife suddenly passed away. The whole community was mourning about it, and I discussed it back then how significant and upsetting it was for everybody. Of course, it's a horrible thing in general. But I'm looking for ways to like help Matt Cutts, and Matt Cutts has been obviously very, very important to our industry, the SEO industry, as across Google and government and a lot of other people. And there's so many stories that people have to share about how Matt Cutts has helped them. So what I did was I built via my company, how has Matt Cutts helped you at mattcutts.org, and I post a story a day from somebody who shared a story after I've obviously approved them. You can just click there, post a story, I'll approve it, and then every day a new story will be posted, which gives something for Matt Cutts to look at every day and look forward to, because obviously going through this must be unbearable. And we're trying to give Matt Cutts something to look forward to on a daily basis and read a story about how he has helped an SEO or helped anybody in the industry as well, not just an SEO, but it could be somebody in Google, somebody at Yahoo, somebody in the government, somebody just a webmaster or a business owner. Post your story here. We have about 100 so far, and I would love this to go on for at least a year. And of course, Matt Cutts, we all love you, and we hope you and wish you all the best, and we're there for you. So thank you for everything you've done for us, and hopefully this helps just a little bit with your healing process. And finally, I'd like to honor the search community likes to honor certain people, and this week we honor Michael Ramirez, Perna, David Siltella, Samantha Noble, and Matt Siltella. So thank you all for everything you've done in the industry. We really do appreciate it. And again, we do appreciate everything you've done. And of course, anybody who's watching this, please go ahead and tell your friends and yourselves to leave a story here. I'll review it, and it'll get posted, and I'll hopefully tweet that story on a daily basis so you guys can see it as well. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable, SERoundtable.com over the past week. Again, today is May 4th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.